Hi, I'm Charles with AniCap. Previously, Combatant Agent Six is sent on a mission by an evil corporation to infiltrate another world and set up a transporter there. He joins Princess Tilly's army and prepares for a large battle against the Demon Lord's army that is quickly approaching. The story continues at the Kisaragi Corporation. The troops celebrate fending off the hero's latest counterattack and becoming one step closer to ruling the world. Astaroth is concerned that they are too relaxed since Six and Alice are still on a mission, but is reminded to calm down. Back in Grace, the group must wait for Grimm to wake up as usual, and Six plans to use the time to scold Astaroth for not allowing him to go further into negative evil points. They receive an email from the scientist Lilith notifying all employees that there will be a live stream of the Kisaragi Corporation celebration. Everyone at the party is excited for the yearly employee survey, and Lilith reveals it was Six who came up with the idea. He created it to settle the dispute on who should be his boss, and he is credited for being smarter than he seems. Six can't believe everyone is partying without him, and Alice realizes what Lilith is doing by broadcasting the event. She is getting people hooked on watching so she can charge them for a subscription when they want more. Lilith bets on herself to win the popularity survey, but the other girls point out that she comes last every single year. Belial is currently in the lead but points out that Astaroth has a good chance of winning since she cares so much about her subordinates. Lilith gets Astaroth to admit that she cares about who Six voted for. Six watches intently, and Alice explains that Lilith will be in big trouble when they find out what she is doing. Astaroth is clearly biased as she hardly acknowledges any of Six's flaws, and explains that it's because they have both worked at Kisaragi since its inception. She starts to open up more, and Lilith begins to fear she will reveal too much. Astaroth goes on to say that they might have to start firing agents like Six, but reveals that she plans to fight for them all. Just then, she realizes that she is being live streamed and becomes extremely embarrassed about what she said about Six. Lilith intends to make things right by having Six say sweet things about Astaroth so that balance can be restored. However, instead of confessing feelings, Six explains that he recorded the entire event so he can watch it as often as he wants, and the statement earns him several evil points. This of course makes Astaroth feel worse, but Belial points out that several people have changed their votes since Astaroth's speech, and she should surely be in first place now. However, that isn't the case, as everyone is shocked to see that Lilith is in first place now. She hides the fact that Six is certain she cheated, but can't do anything when the poll shows that she has received more votes than the number of agents at the company. Corrected results show that Astaroth is actually in the lead, and she remembers how Six used to run crooked campaigns in the past in order to help her in the polls. Just then, the poll is updated once more, and Lilith once again takes the lead, but this time she has over 1 million votes. This is far more than the number of employees they have, and she explains that she hired hundreds of thousands of employees. Lilith offered unlimited time off and $500,000 a month, just as long as they voted for her. This is clearly unreasonable, but Lilith explains that she doesn't plan to pay them as they are an evil corporation anyway. Lilith is punished by the others, and it is decided that gift cards will be handed out to the wrongly hired employees. Astaroth still wants to hear who Six voted for, but before he can tell her, an alarm sounds and it is explained that a large band of heroes is approaching the party at high speed. It's clear now that the only reason the heroes knew about it is because Lilith was streaming the event. Astaroth is certain that they will win against the heroes, and she encourages Six and his group to defeat the Demon Lord as well. Six appreciates the speech, but wishes she would have given him an advance on some evil points instead. Alice isn't worried though, and reveals that she has already come up with a plan to neutralize the Demon Lord's army. Six heads to bed, and Alice admits to being the one that requested Six not be allowed to enter into the red with evil points. She was protecting him from himself, but plans to reinstate it later so that he will owe her. The next day, Alice explains that Tiger Man can't come with them to the ruins. He is to stay and hold out the Demon Lord's army while the royal guards fight the troops from Taurus. While everyone is distracted, Six's unit will infiltrate Torres, get the ancient weapon, and use it to end the battle. On their way to Torres, Six explains how he has not forgotten how Rose attempted to eat him, and Alice grows impatient with Snow's whining about being in debt from purchasing weapons. Six attempts to console her, but gets mocked when Alice reveals that she pays him an allowance. She offers an allowance and a bonus for completing the mission to Snow, and she quickly accepts. Snow details how she would sacrifice everyone she knows and abandon all morals for money. Six believes she would be a great agent for the Kisaragi Corporation, but Alice explains that she isn't actually evil. Much like Six, she is only a bottom-feeding scumbag. They arrive at the ruins and observe the demons. Russell explains that they have fought countless enemies but will now surely reach the weapon by the next day. He explains that he is a combat chimera, and they have unlimited magic power as long as they keep eating. Six begins to question what Grim has actually managed to accomplish, and she defends herself as a valued member of the unit. Snow explains that it doesn't matter though, since she plans on sneaking into their camp and attacking while they sleep. It's a bit too cowardly for Grim's liking, and they point out how Six is beginning to rub off on her. Six says that he wouldn't do something so lame, and explains his plan instead. After a night of rest, they will allow the demons to go on first so that they can fight all the monsters and set off all the traps. Once they near their goal and relax from exhaustion, Six and his unit will attack. The next day, the group enters the ruins, and Alice recalls always feeling like something isn't right about the world they have come to. Snow attempts to take relics, assuming it must be worth some money, and thinks the same about some robot pieces further into the ruins. Alice gets distracted as well, and Rose feels a familiarity to the ruins. They find Haney and Russell fighting more guardians, and overhear how friendly they are to each other. Russell explains she doesn't need to protect him since combat chimeras are so tough, but she explains that he is the only one that can defeat the Sand King. The group follow close behind, and Six asks Grim to use a curse on the demons as they fight guardians. The others in the group begin to feel some compassion for the demons since they are just trying their best on their mission. Alice reminds her of the bonus she will receive, and she quickly changes her tune. The demons finally arrive at the ancient weapon, and Russell anxiously thinks about eliminating humans. Haney can really only think about one human she wants revenge from, and Russell prepares to use the weapon. Six interrupts though, and earns evil points by using the kid as a hostage. Everyone becomes uneasy when Haney reveals how scummy Six's plan to make them do all the work was. He taunts her a bit, and Alice points out that Russell isn't breathing. Six can't believe he just did that to a kid, but Alice explains that she might be able to help. Russell comes back but realizes that Six only wanted him to live so that he could take the weapon while he watches. Six also demands that they activate the weapon and give exact details on how to use it. Russell follows along with his orders but shocks Six when he enters the weapon. Alice determines that they can no longer steal the weapon and must now destroy it. Six attempts to use Haney as a hostage again, but Russell tells her to leave with a message. He states that he is now in control of the weapon and the humans and Sand King are done for. She manages to escape, but not before Six can get a souvenir. He uses it to taunt Russell, but must run when he becomes enraged. They reach the exit, but only to find Russell waiting for them, and he explains that they won't be able to run away. The group had originally planned on running until the robot needed to fuel up, but the ruins are surprisingly fragile, and Grim wants a shot at putting a curse on it. Six recommends trying it on the android Alice first, and she explains that she won't fall for her pretend magic trick. Grim curses the non-believer to have the ceiling fall on her head, but it backfires. Six contemplates giving the enemy Snow in the hopes that he will stop attacking, but Rose volunteers to negotiate since she is a combat chimera just like Russell. Six likes the idea at first, but realizes just how scared she is and tells her to stay to watch the others. He asks Alice for a plan, and she reveals that the only one she has will require him to go into negative evil points. He will also be tasked with buying them some time. He completely trusts Alice since she is the smarter of the two, and she explains that she trusts him with fighting since he is the stronger. The rest of the group go with Alice, and she explains that they will be building a robot. Russell has the other demons go in search of the intruders, but they are all quickly taken care of by Six. His attacks don't do much against the robot since he is just a human, but he explains that his plan is to deplete the robot's energy source. The robot is powered by the user's life energy though, and combat chimeras have nearly unlimited energy as long as they are fed. Six takes on the challenge though. He flashbangs Russell and calls for several weapons, explaining that he isn't just an ordinary human. However, Russell quickly realizes that Six isn't the type to sacrifice himself so that his friends can escape, and determines that Alice must be up to something. Russell wants to go after her instead, but Six uses his buzzsaw and some taunting to regain his attention. This only results in his capture though, and Russell takes out his frustrations on Six. Russell becomes a bit overconfident, and Six explains that it's when things usually go wrong for the bad guys. Just then, a monstrous thing can be heard approaching, and Six explains that it's the Kisaragi Corporation's pride and joy. The mobile fortress destroyer is being controlled by Alice, and with Six's encouragement, she engages with Russell. Later, Six quickly recovers thanks to Alice, and she explains that she easily won the fight between the mechs. She went on to use the destroyer to instill fear in the Taurus army, so they fled. The Demon Lord's army was single-handedly defeated by Tiger Man, and their mission is now complete. Six has been out for several days, but Alice explains she never left his side, and will stay with him forever. The pair then visit the imprisoned Russell, who declines Six's offer to make things easier. Russell explains that he is one of the Demon Lord's Elite Four and won't betray his team. Six threatens him, but the kid has no fear since chimeras are not affected much by pain, and he only responds with taunts. He is terrified of Tiger Man though, and agrees to help make water for them using his power. Afterwards, Grim is upset to have never had a moment to shine. Six explains that she did whenever one of her curses backfired and everyone laughed at her. Grim is clearly unhappy, so Six tells her that he will request she be moved to another unit. She takes it back almost instantly, and Six begins to question the curse that backfired on her and now doesn't allow her to wear anything on her feet. Six recruits Alice to test it out, and they are both surprised to see that it was actually true when Grim explodes. At the Kisaragi Corporation, Astaroth reads Six's report that explains his mission was a success, but the situation there has not improved. He requests reinforcements, and Astaroth wonders if she should go help. That night, Six explains that he still can't return home after going so deep in the red with evil points, and wonders if he will ever be able to just rest. Alice explains that the Kisaragi Corporation will only continue making him conquer more planets though. Six then contemplates staying there forever to conquer this planet and creating the greatest harem he can. Thanks for watching part 4. This concludes the recap for the anime Combatants Will Be Dispatched.